everyone, good afternoon, and a warm welcome to today's webinar. My name is Antonia, and on behalf of Mohanji Youth Club, we are truly grateful that we are here on this session, which is very important. Today we have introduction to natural disasters and man-made threats. So at Mohanji Youth Club, we aim to empower young people to become responsible, aware, and compassionate global citizen. We are doing it through meaningful education, service, and conscious living, of course. So we strive to build a generation that leads with purpose and that contributes positively to society and to planet. So we are very honored to be joined today by our expert, Mr. Munish Kumar. A warm welcome. Mr. Munish, he's a founder and director of EHS Guru Sustainable Solution. He's a professional with over 18 years of experience in audits, consulting, and actually training across a wide spectrum of sectors. So we will just give a few words because this is really like opportunity to have sessions with experts like Mr. Munish. So he conducted over more than 4,200 hours of training in areas such as fire safety, such as disaster management, risk assessment, industrial safety, and environmental compliance. So his experience also includes working with corporates, with government agency, and globally funded projects, including World Bank and etc. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, and we are very happy that we will have session with you. So let's all just warmly welcome Mr. Munish Kumar, and I will give you now talk not to lose and take your time.
Thank you so much for sharing the introduction, and I congratulate Mohanji Youth Club for taking up this initiative. Crisis management is very important part in everybody's life, and it is the right time, like if we are at peace, it is the right time to prepare for the disaster. And today's session is also going to be more focused on various types of disasters. We will discuss about natural and man-made disasters, and I am privileged to be part of this Mohanji Youth Club initiatives, and we will discuss about different scenarios, whether it is natural disaster or man-made, and you may put your questions in the chat box or you can ask in between, and that's how we are going to proceed with this session. Thank you so much. So let me share my screen, and I'll request somebody can keep an eye on the chat box also. If there are something which needs attention from my side, you can tell me that.
We will take care of chat, don't worry.
Yes. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Right. This session is in the sequence of crisis management course, and this is the session 2, where the introduction to natural and man-made disaster is going to be covered. So I'll start this session with very important questions. So are you ready for facing any emergency situation or disaster situation? I'm not asking this question to create a panic situation, but we should be ready to any of the disaster or emergency situations. So are we ready with any kind of emergency planning, even at our home or at our workplace or wherever we are? We should be ready with different types of emergency situations. So there are crucial questions around these subjects, which is very important to understand. And the very important brainstorming question is also that if there are natural disaster or human-made disasters happen and you are away from your home, what would you be doing in that situation? Whom you contact? Do you have any planning around those aspects? So these are some of the crucial questions which we should know. So to answer these questions, let's do what if analysis. We usually suggest different stakeholders to do what if analysis. It's a kind of preparation for any emergency or disaster situations, or to understand safety aspects more in detail. These what if analyses are also being done. So let's do what if analysis, which will take us through various phases of different disastrous situations. Like what if we are not regularly updating ourselves from meteorological status? These status are very important because if we are traveling to any places, we should know about the weather update of that area. And our mobile phone, which is a smartphone, is also having such facilities. Okay. So what if we are not aware about different types of disaster and we don't know what to do, what kind of actions are required? And in real disaster situation, our mind will be in more panic situation. Our decision making capacity will get reduced. So if we are not updated about all of these situations, we will be in panic. And that's how it is important for us to do the planning at this stage now. So there are solutions available for all these questions. Uh, for example, if I ask you the question about checking the weather data or meteorological status, everybody has smartphone. So there are time to time updates available. You can check the temperature condition, weather forecast. So all of these details are available handy in our phone. So we should not avoid these message or alerts which comes usually, and there are specific alerts from different government authorities in each country. So don't ignore any of such alerts or update which comes to your mobile. Okay. So let's start with basics of disasters. So first, let's understand the definition of disaster. Okay. So before I explain you the definition of disaster, I want to ask from you, can you share some inputs on disaster? Have you experienced anything related to disaster or you have heard of? You can put your responses in the chat box. Yes, I'm getting response only weather related disasters. Rarely, no. Okay. We don't expect anything to happen really. Okay. See, all these disasters will not come after knocking the door. It comes suddenly. It comes at a time when we are not expecting anything like that. Okay. So we have to prepare and think of such situation in the peace time. So let me share my screen again and let's understand the basic of disaster first. In Serbia, there was a huge storm that cut trees and ruined houses. Yes, natural disaster can happen at any place. Okay. So according to the basic understanding of its definition, a serious disruption of the functioning of a community or a society causing widespread human, material, economic, or environmental losses that exceed the ability of affected community or society to cope using its own resources. So this definition is very comprehensive, provided by World Health Organization, and it focuses on the large impact, not just individual, but entire community is getting affected. And our capacity to deal with such situations become, it's like we are not able to cope up with these situations as a community or society. So that capacity is not there, then only it will be known as a disaster situation. Okay, usually these disaster situations are classified into natural and man-made. And the name itself is suggested. Natural means it is something with the nature. We don't have much control over it. And man-made disaster is human-induced disasters. But I sometimes disagree with this concept because even the natural disasters which happens with us is somehow triggered by human actions. Nature will not disturb us until we start exploiting it. So all the natural disasters are also indirectly human-induced disasters. But still, we classify it as separately because most of the natural disasters are connected with some of the natural phenomena. We will be discussing about these disasters one by one. Okay, I'm getting response that power outage is good example of emergency situations which can be a disaster if it extended to a longer time and it affects the entire society. Fire is also most common man-made emergency or disaster situations. Okay, so let's talk about natural disaster one by one, starting with the earthquake. Most of you must have experienced the earthquakes. What is earthquake? You all know that it's shaking of the ground surface or earth because of some geographical phenomena, which is plate tectonics. You must have read in your schools that there is a concept of plate tectonics because of which earthquake happens. Earthquake by itself is not dangerous, but if it affects the building, it will become dangerous for us, for humans. So we should know that what action we need to do during earthquake situation. So if I ask you the question, what will you do if you face earthquake? There are earthquake tremors and you don't know what needs to be done. But still, what you can think of right now? What is the right action, immediate action in case of earthquake tremors? Whatever you feel is relevant in such situation. Okay, I'm getting response to go outside, to go in the open spaces, cover your head. Okay. But in real earthquake situation, we will not get sufficient time to even go outside. And even if you go outside or towards the open spaces, it will be dangerous than compared to inside the building. If you are inside the building, you should stay inside the building during earthquake tremors. And there are specific actions which are required to be done. Let's understand what needs to be done. See, earthquake will not come after some warning or alarm sign. It is the natural phenomena. We should not take up any actions like you are responding in the chat box. It's very dangerous if you start coming outside during earthquake tremors. Even if you are at ground floor, you need to remember these three words: drop, cover, and hold on. Why drop, cover, and hold on is important? Because in earthquake tremors, it will be just microseconds. There can be a collapse of the building, or if you come outside of the building can collapse outside area also, and the area can get affected with that. So wherever you are during earthquake tremors, simply remember these three uh, steps: drop, cover, and hold on. And I'll explain you why this is important in earthquake scenario. Uh, Let me show you first what is drop, cover, and hold on. I'll share um, the audio also. You see these drop, cover, and hold on.
Great Shakeout earthquake drills remind you to drop, cover, and hold on in most situations. Let's practice what to do if a sturdy desk or table is nearby. When you feel shaking, immediately drop down onto your hands and knees. An earthquake is less likely to knock you over in this position, and you're a smaller target for anything falling or flying. Then, cover your head with your arms. Clasp your hands around your neck.
And why this position is important? Because in earthquake tremors, we are trying to save ourselves from the head injuries. And head is the most vital part of our body. So that must be protected in case of any collapse. This can save our life even if there is a collapse of the building. And if there is no collapse, then also that makes no meaning that you go outside during the tremors. But yes, after tremors are over, your emergency response team, if you are in some workplace, so that can take the decision whether evacuation has to be done or not, because after earthquake tremors are over, there are chances of aftershocks. So remember this position and simply understand it.
Bend over to protect your vital organs. If you can move safely and a sturdy desk or table is nearby, keep one arm over your head as you crawl to additional shelter. Finally, hold on by gripping a table leg or other part of your shelter. Continue protecting your head and neck with your other arm. Remain on your knees and bent over, ready to move with your shelter when it shifts during the shaking. Close your eyes and mouth to protect against dust and debris. Remain in this position until the shaking stops. After the shaking is over, Wait a moment and check all around and above you before getting up or leaving your shelter. Register at shakeout.org to practice earthquake.
So Croatia has earthquake 2 years ago. Okay. Right.
आपके बच्चे फिर इनके मम्मी पापा
So earthquake, it is important that even if we are outside the building, we need to see that we are not very close to any power lines or anything which comes in the direct range of falling debris. So we need to be inside the vehicle, and that vehicle, if we are in the car or in the vehicle, so our location should be in very open areas, not inside or under the bridge. So that needs to be taken care of. But if we are in the inside areas or indoor areas, never try to use elevators. And even this evacuation is not recommended during earthquake tremors. Okay, even after tremors, you take the evacuation route basis on your emergency response planning. Then that also must be through staircase only, not through the elevators. So I hope you understood the earthquake scenario. So let's go to the lightning, which is second. And now we are discussing about the natural disaster. So earthquake is classified into natural disasters. And if I ask you a question, we discussed the action specifically during earthquake tremors, what needs to be done. But before earthquake comes, what kind of mitigation we can do? In disaster management, we usually talk about 4 different phases. So mitigation is always the first phase of disaster management cycle. So usually we suggest the buildings to have the earthquake resistance. So that can be taken care by the building developers. The designing element of the building can be completely in line with the standards, which is specifically the designing element of the building can be according to making the building resistant to earthquake. And every location in all the countries are divided into certain zones. I'm sure your country, you should know the location wherever you are, what type of zones are there, how many Richter scale or magnitude of earthquake can come at your place. So those things are predefined by scientific studies. And according to that zones, you should make sure that the building wherever you are residing or you are working is completely designed according to that particular earthquake zone. So these kinds of important actions are required prior to earthquake, which helps us in preventing such risk, more of a mitigation measure. Okay, so let's move to the second part, that is lightning. Lightning is again a natural phenomena consisting of electrostatic discharges, and it happens because there are some negative and positive charge built on clouds, sometimes in air, and there are different kinds of lightning. And the most dangerous lightning is when lightning strikes from clouds towards earth. It becomes very dangerous. Otherwise, there can be lightning situation during thunderstorms which happen inside the cloud. We are just listening the sound and it is not coming directly to earth. If it comes directly to earth, then it becomes dangerous, and we should be very cautious about these things. So have you experienced lightning anywhere in your experience till now? You can answer these questions in the chat box. Any experience of lightning? It usually happens in rainy season. Just respond in the chat box. Okay, Mila is responding that school almost got hit by lightning. And the buildings usually have lightning protection system. And this is a kind of preventive action which you need to identify, that any type of building must be protected by lightning protection device. So if somehow there are chances of lightning strike in the building, the lightning arrestor will not allow the lightning impact towards the building. However, it will take that lightning energy directly to the ground. Okay, so one important action, you should check whether your building has lightning protection device or not. If it is not there, you should ensure that it is installed. So that is a preventive action for lightning. Okay. So if I'm saying earthing means the energy which comes from this lightning will be redirected towards the earth. So there will be a metal plates continuing from the lightning protection device. It will be absorbed by that device, and the entire energy will be grounded through those metal plates or the grounding cables. So that's how this earthing works, which makes sure the energy coming from lightning strike is not affecting the building. If it affects the building, it can create fire. It can also create the cracks in the building, because this is very, very high energy. If you compare the energy inside the lightning situation, it can go beyond the surface temperature of our sun, more than 20,000 degrees Celsius, or 54,000 degree Fahrenheit. So that's the amount of energy or heat generated during the lightning situation. So I hope you understood what does earthing means in this case. Okay, let's understand what needs to be done. So if we are indoor, we should stay away from windows, doors, or anything that conducts electricity. Usually there are high risk if we are close to the metallic part. Then we should avoid any kind of traveling. We should stay indoor if there are lightning or thunderstorm situation outside. Avoid using wired electronics or plumbing, because through plumbing device also this lightning can travel and affect us inside our homes. Unplug unnecessary electrical appliances to make them isolated from the main supply. And don't use coded phones, computer, any electronic devices that should not be used. So if you hear the thunder, go inside, stay off the wire. There should not be any metallic or connectivity near you, and wait for the sky to be clear. That's kind of action which is required if you are indoor. But if you are outdoor, so go to the safe shelter immediately. And safe shelter means at least find some space inside the building, because the open area is more dangerous in lightning situation. Avoid metal structure and construction with metal sheeting. That should be avoided. We should ideally find shelter in the low-lying areas, because high areas have high risk of lightning strike. And that's why every country has some of the standards or codes which mandates high-rise structures to have lightning protection system installed in the buildings by default. So do not lie flat on the ground. This will make a bigger target. So instead, it is better to take this position which is shown in the photo, and it is similar to what you have taken in earthquake scenario. Okay, never try to take shelter under tree, because trees are also very risky in such lightning situation. If you are in group, you should not be uh, standing in group. Better to spread from groups. It reduces the risk of lightning. Okay, but if you are inside the car, stay inside the car, and your window must be completely closed. That's how you can save yourself in lightning situation. As I mentioned, if you are in groups, spread and take the position of crouch down. And crouch down position is shown in this particular photo on the slide. Okay, I hope it is clear. Lightning, anything, any question from your side? Okay, right. Any experience of flood? Have you seen flooding situation? Anything related to that? Any country experiencing any kind of flood? In India, we usually have this flooding situation, which is a kind of overflow of water in usually a dry areas, which is not expected. Okay, I'm getting response at Serbia and Croatia. They have experienced flood in 2012. Okay, Kerala also, yes, flooding situations are there. So it can come, and we know that from the last 100 years of history, and this data would be available, you should know the flooding history of your location, at least from last 100 years. So that data would be available and you can plan accordingly. So all the critical locations of your home or your workplace must be at high level so that flooding is not affecting the critical areas of the building. So let's understand some of the practical actions which are possible in flood situation. So these are some of the actions which should be done prior to a flooding situation. So it means we can prepare ourselves for flooding. If we know that rainy season is about to come, we can check all the critical location that must be at high level, and also seal any kind of gaps or holes in the basement. Our emergency pumps must be ready. So if we need to reduce the water level in the basement, that pumping system must be activated or ready prior to that. So these are some of the common actions prior to flooding situations. But if you're stuck in the flooding situation, be aware, listen to the regular updates from authorities related to this. And the best way to prevent the effect from flood is to go at higher level. And this is common sense. If you should save yourself first before you try to save your assets or some important documents. So that planning has to be done prior to flooding situation. So for that, we always recommend that all the essential documents must be in digital format, and also you must have a seal packed of these essential documents which can be protected even during flooding situation. Okay, so secure your home. If you have time, bring in outdoor furniture. So all of these are some of the common actions in different flooding situation. Some important do's and don'ts: never walk through a moving water. And even 6 inch of moving water can make you fall while you are inside the water. So be cautious. If there are flowing water, avoid that area and be very careful. uh, Prefer the stagnant water location. So that's how you can come out of that location. So this is some common aspects of flooding situation. Right. So there can be some situations related to excessive heat. Some countries experience excessive heat, and this season is about to come in India. From June, we will face the heat waves. And common action point during such situation is to keep ourselves hydrated, take shelter in the shade spaces, never expose yourself for a longer duration in direct sun. So these are some of the common actions in the heat waves. Okay. So these were some of the common natural disasters which we discussed till now. And now let's discuss on man-made disaster. As the name suggests, man-made disasters are human-induced disasters, which is, for example, a chemical accident in the industry. That is a man-made disaster. Fire in any kind of building, man-made disaster. Terrorist attack is an example of man-made disaster. So these are some of the common examples. Let's see the high-level understanding of man-made disasters.
nuclear weapons, and even global warming. What are their similarities? They are all influenced by human causes. These human-influenced events cause costly natural and human damage globally. This is, what are human-caused disasters? What exactly is a human-caused disaster? By definition, human-caused disasters are disasters that have an element of human intent, neglect, or error involving a failure of a human-made system.
So you understood the concept of man-made disasters, which has direct relation with some of the human actions. For example, fire is the most probable situations in such cases. So if you're stuck in fire emergency, what needs to be done? Let's understand this first. Have you experienced any fire situations or heard of any fire accidents? What actions are important in such situations? We should know some of the emergency related actions for fire situations. So first, there can be activation of alarm system if you are part of some high-rise buildings or some workplace which has fire detection and alarm systems in the buildings. So activation of alarm doesn't necessarily mean that there is a fire. Listen to announcements after that and immediately try to get to the safe assembly point of the building. Come out of the building immediately. Do not use lift in such situations. But understand, if you're stuck in fire situation, there are high level of smoke. What will you do in such situation? And there is a specific situation which is highlighted in this particular slide. If your clothes catches fire, God forbid, what will you do in such situations? So similar to drop, cover, and hold on for earthquake, we recommend this: stop, do not try to run. And it is usual tendency where if there are fire in clothes, our tendency will be to run because we will be in panic situation, but never try to do that. Otherwise, the fire will get more oxygen and it can spread more quickly in that situation. Stop wherever you are, drop on the ground, cover your face completely, and roll on. It will extinguish the fire of your clothes in that situation. Now, second situation related to fire. If you are stuck in fire, how can you increase your survival time in the smoke? Because smoke is dangerous. Oxygen level get reduced in that area. So wet cloth is the remedy. Take any cloth, cover your face and nose so that the breathing which you are taking is coming from the filtration of the wet cloth, which will increase at least 40% of your time to be survived in smoke situation. Otherwise, if we are breathing directly in smoke, it will reduce our time to come out of that area. So wet cloth on your face is very important in such situation to protect ourselves from smoke. And second important action is to have crawling. You know crawling, how crawling is done. Try to be at the lower level because smoke usually rises up. And at lower level, there will be higher oxygen level present. Okay, so be at the lower level of the floor. Crawl if you are trying to come from one area to other area, and then cover your face with wet cloth. That's how you can save yourself or increase your time of evacuation during fire situation. So in fire, smoke is more dangerous than fire. Most of serious injuries and deaths are because of smoke situations in fire. Okay. And whenever you are changing one room to another room, try to touch the handle first from the opposite side of your hand. If it is hot, it means there can be chances of fire at other side. So that's how you can sense fire in different areas. And if there is a fire on the other side, either take alternate route, or if you need to take the same route, sit down first and then open the door very slowly. Do not open the door immediately. Otherwise, there can be backdraft situation and high fire can be induced in your area also. So for fire safety, first aid of fire is very important. We cannot have practical session on how to use fire extinguisher, but I'm sure you should take chance to operate fire extinguisher. Four steps are very important. And let's see these 4 steps in the form of a video.
How to use a fire extinguisher. In this short video, we'll cover how to properly use a fire extinguisher using the PASS method. Now, it's important to note that if a fire does occur in your workplace, that you follow these 3 important steps. Step 1. Once you've seen the fire, first grab the closest fire extinguisher, ensuring it's the correct type and class appropriate to extinguish the fire, and always make sure to keep.
But how will you get to know what type of fire is there? Nowadays, multi-purpose fire extinguishers are available. So make sure you are using multi-purpose extinguisher and then extinguish the fire using the 4 steps. So step 1 is always to unlock the extinguisher by pulling
Your back to an unobstructed exit. If you do not think that you can put out the fire safely, make sure to evacuate the building. Step 2. Once you have your fire extinguisher, stand 6 to 8 feet away from the fire. Step 3. Follow the PASS 4-step procedure. First is P for pull. Pulling the pin unlocks the operating lever and allows you to discharge the extinguisher. Next is A for aim. Make sure to aim the extinguisher nozzle or hose at the base of the fire. The first S is squeeze. Squeeze the lever. This discharges the extinguishing agent. Releasing the lever will stop the discharge. The second S is for sweep. While discharging the extinguisher, start moving towards the fire. Keep the extinguisher aimed at the base of the fire and sweep back and forth until the flames appear to be out. Once the fire has been extinguished, make sure to watch the fire area. If the fire reignites, repeat the process. Always remember that smoke generated from the fire can be harmful and even fatal. Never attempt to extinguish a fire unless it is safe to do so. Now to recap the PASS 4-step procedure. P is for pull the pin. A is for aim the nozzle. The first S is for squeeze the lever. And the second S is for sweep.
Okay, so for fire, you understood that these 4 steps are very important to operate any kind of fire extinguisher, but do not try to operate fire extinguisher if you're not confident. It can have some injury also. Always practice the fire extinguisher in normal situation. And when you feel confident, then only operate the fire extinguisher. Okay, so next, let's discuss on some more human-induced disasters or man-made disasters. So how to prevent from terrorist attacks? So there are some important action. Even sometimes not taking action is also very important. So staying informed, be aware of about the potential threats and security guidelines issued by authority, and that's where your mobile notification from government authorities will also come handy in such situations. So pay attention to all your surroundings, public places, and report if there is something unusual if you see in your area. Know your emergency procedures, understand what to do in case of an attack. Because these situations are very critical. We should know whether to run, whether to hide, whether to stay in the same place. And that will be specific to the location. There cannot be a generic response to such situation, but we should be aware about our surroundings and do not panic. For any kind of good response in disaster situation, we should never be in panic situation. Feel confident, then only you can take right decisions in disaster situation. Okay. Do not spread unverified information, because in such situation, a lot of unverified information through WhatsApp, social media, and all of these things will come up. Never trust. Do your double check from the authentic sources and then accordingly share it with the relevant people. Engage yourself in community initiatives in such situation to promote community safety and understanding related to these aspects. Bomb threat is another possibility which can come at any place. There can be a fox or a false such situations. So, but we should be very cautious. Do not try to become hero or direct actions in such situation. Always have the emergency contact details of your area. Usually, 911 is the national emergency number. Immediately connect with them. In India, we have a national emergency number of 112, and I'm sure you must be aware about your national emergency number. It is 911 or any other number in some countries. So you can confirm which is the national emergency number of your country. You can send in the chat box. India has 112 as national emergency number. What is the national emergency number of your country? You can send in the chat box. You should know that. Connect with the bomb squad. Okay, 112 is there in other country also. Right. So let's see some questions related to these. What is the first thing to do during an earthquake if you are indoor? So this is a kind of MCQ. You can answer the questions in the chat box. Everyone knows now. Drop, cover, and hold on is the right answer in such situation. Great. Now, what should you do during lightning storm when you are outdoor? Choose the right answer and send in the chat box. What should you avoid during lightning storm when you are outdoor? Okay. Yes, this is correct answer. C. What is the first action if your clothes catch fire? Okay. So all answers are C. Right. I showed you the answer. Which organization defines disaster as a serious disruption exceeding coping capacity? Okay. It's A, correct. So what is the common sign that an earthquake may be imminent? Yes, animal behavior changes. Few animals are very sensitive and they get prior information, but we should not be dependent on these things, rather prepare yourself. So what is the safest action if you are in the car during an earthquake? Okay, great, correct answers are coming. During flood, why you should not walk through the moving water? Yes. C is the correct answer. 6 inches can make you fall. What should you avoid during the fire in high-rise building? Elevators, okay. Yes, your answers are correct. What should you never do after receiving a bomb threat call? Yes, never try to do investigation by yourself. Right. So let's understand there are different disaster situation, how we can help natural disaster victims. So this is also very interesting subject to know. Okay, so if you go into these details after any of the disaster situation, there is a concept which is known as building. We should be like, as I mentioned, that disaster management cycle has 4 phases. Mitigation is always the first step, wherein we are preparing for any of the disaster situation. After mitigation, preparation will come up, which is like immediately onset of the disaster, we will prepare for that. Then response, and then recovery. So after disaster response, recovery efforts will come up. And in recovery phase, there are a lot of things, a lot of support is needed because humans are very sensitive, very emotional. In such situation, even psychological situations gets also changes. Our mind is more stressed due to that. So how we can support the community in such situation? Even sometimes you can have different ways to support, like you can host a fundraiser. Um, some relief package can be assembled to support the community. And in fact, sometimes giving your time is also very important. So it's not always donation of money or things are important, but if you spend some time with the affected people, that also gives you a kind of satisfaction, and to others, a kind of emotional support in such situations. Okay, so offer childcare, help parents out by watching their kids. So you can also plan to have your home as a shelter for some of the victims. So there are plenty of ways which can be utilized to help people in such situations. And we should support each other in such situations. So build back better is one of the very significant action because there will be a lot of disruption, new changes has to be done. And compassion is very powerful in such situations. So we should spend some time, listen to people. That's how we can make sure that people are feeling safe and they are coming out of this trauma situation. And there is a specific term used for this trauma like situation, which is known as PTSD. And I'll not go into details of this concept due to paucity of time, but this term is known as post-traumatic stress disorder. Usually when people are facing extreme situations or disastrous situation, they feel very stressed. They feel that now the life is not relevant or interested to them. So these are a temporary psychological responses, which is normal, but we need to be very cautious in attending such situations or in dealing with such cases. So there are different phases of this PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. First phase is about impact phase, which is the moment when disaster strikes. So as I mentioned that it is usually the tendency that everybody will get the panic situation, and who will not be in panic situation? Who has attended such sessions which we are doing, who has thought of disaster prior to uh, its real facing the disaster scenario. Okay. So if we are thinking of disaster scenario prior to it or it normally the peacetime, that makes sure that we will not be in panic situation. That's why companies or organizations also recommend to do different emergency drill for such situation. So in impact phase, disbelief or confusion, sometimes disassociation will come up. There can be psychological arousal. Lot of such symptoms will come up. Second phase is immediate post-disaster phase, which includes symbol like emotional numbing. We will see that person has no emotion. Okay, it will feel like he or she is not able to feel anything. There can be very emerging emotional responses. They may feel deep gratitude for surviving alongside. So different situation will come up, or they will go into the mental grief situation, which is not right for them. Their cognitive processing ability will get reduced. So all of these will affect by the disaster situation. So next phase is recovery phase, which is also related to their disillusionment, and this can also lead to increasing the symptoms of PTSD again in the situations. So if we need to understand what needs to be done in such situations, we should understand that psychological first aid is very relevant concept in such situation. How many of you are aware about what is psychological first aid? Give your yes or no. Okay. So so since I got to know that there will be a detailed session on post-traumatic symptoms related to this PTSD. So we will talk briefly on psychological first aid. So it is like how we are attending such cases, what kind of actions we are doing, and very important action during such situation is grounding technique. So let's understand what is grounding technique. We will do a quick small exercise right now. I'm pausing this slide sharing. Uh, Grounding technique is very important in such situation. So listen to my instruction for some time. Close your eyes wherever you are sitting. Take deep breaths. After deep breath, pause for a few seconds and then breathe out. Eyes remain closed. Now open your eyes. See at least 5 different objects surrounding yourself. Now open your eyes. See 5 different objects. You can see your watch, remote, wallet, anything. Notice it. Now, next step, feel the 4 different things. You can feel the temperature, feel the air which is coming to you. You can feel some object which is close to your hands. You can feel your hair. Feel at least 4 different things. Okay. So if you are feeling, if you have completed the feeling 4 different things, now here the 3 things. It can be sound of fan, sound of AC, or some distant noise which is coming to you, or my voice which is coming to you. Listen it. Okay. You have completed the 3 things which you can hear. Note it down. Then 2 things which you can smell. It can be freshness of air, smell of something like food which is getting cooked nearby to you, or any smell, fragrance you are getting. Feel it, smell it. And one thing you can taste. Feel the taste, what is present in your mouth now. You had taken water sometime before, or tea, some sweet taste you have in your mouth. Feel it. Okay, now close your eyes again. Take deep breath. Yes, now open your eyes. Yes. So this was a grounding technique. It means what I was trying to do to activate all your senses. From that trauma situation, from stress situation, we feel more relaxed in such situation. Okay, so in panic attack also, yes, the same method is tried. So this is grounding technique which can be utilized in such situations, right? I'll share some videos which are relevant in the such situations. So usually all of these emergency or disaster situations are being attended by different emergency response team members. So in organized places like workplace, there are emergency response team. Listen to their instruction or be actively part of that emergency response team. Uh, there are search and rescue team, communication team, first aid or medical emergency team, which is also very important. So these are the questions. I'm skipping these questions as of now because
Hello.
we are the paucity of the time. Time is almost over, but I'll take you to important actions after these sessions, which you should take note of these things. First important action for all of you is to save emergency numbers. What kind of emergency numbers you should save? It can be the medical support nearby you, police or emergency number of your close relatives, hospital, and as I mentioned that something related to bomb squad. In some countries, national emergency numbers solve all the purpose, but sometimes you can have direct number of all different types of emergency. Like in India, you can save the number of police station, hospital, bomb squad, and there are specific CBR and emergency situation in all the countries. So save all those emergency situations, emergency numbers in the peacetime. Second, activate the emergency alerts on your phone. If you go in the setting of your phone, you will find the notification under notification, there will be different options. So activate the emergency notifications alerts from the government authorities, which is relevant in such situations. Keep all the important documents in waterproof folder. Or another way is to have the scan copy or digital version of all these documents so that becomes safe in the cloud. Then keep a ready emergency bag at your home and while traveling. And this emergency bag should include the survival content for at least 3 days of time. It can have whistle, it can also have radio, some chocolates, some rope, which is also very important in any different types of emergency situation. Discuss the emergency planning at your home. Learn the basics of first aid and CPR, which is also very important in medical emergency situation. Know your area and city. You should be familiar with your area. What kind of evacuation routes are available. If you are stuck in the city or stuck in the area, how will you save yourself in that situation? So this was all about different kinds of emergency or disaster situations, natural and man-made. Now we can open the session for the question answer or discussions related to any of those aspects.
Thank you, Mr. Munish, so much. So I had one question, but you answered. How can we be more prepared? And then the last slide was regarding that, so we can prepare ourselves in advance. And the second question is, can you tell us what are the 3 basic things which every household should have in case of natural disasters? So that we have like this in mind.
Okay, so to protect ourselves from natural disaster, usually 3 important things are, one should be the radio with some batteries, because if power cuts are there, we still can have the communication system active through radio. Second, sufficient quantity of water. We cannot survive without that. And third is some rope. Rope is very important to help or to save in different types of emergency situations. So rope can also be part of that. And usually we recommend to have complete emergency kit like first aid, torch, some flashlights. So these are some of the important things which we all should have at our home.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else have any questions regarding natural or man-made disasters? Feel free to ask. Yes, we have Masha first and then Eka.
Hello, thank you for your explanation. It was truly amazing. I joined a bit late, so I'm not sure if my question was already answered during the presentation or not. But if a disaster happens, what should we do if we have an elderly in our house or someone who panics and cannot move or cannot decide how we can save them and ourselves at the same time?
Okay, so that's very relevant question. So if there are elders in our home, so they need special protection and support in such emergency or disaster situation. So evacuation to the safer location is very important. So and they need some additional support in such situations. So we should be prepared how to take them, how they will be able to move from one place to another. So that kind of preparedness is very important in advance. So usually we recommend to practice such situations at home. Then how and they will we should discuss the different emergency situation with the elders in such situations. And then when we are practicing prior to the real emergency situation, then we will be able to attend such situation in the real scenario also. And we should know that what kind of medications they are having, and then take along all those medicines as part of emergency kit to the safer location. That's how it can be managed in such situations. So the common response in all such situation is to think of such situation in advance. Do not wait for real emergency to come up, and then practice those situations. Different elders can have different needs. So we should know their needs in such disaster situation in advance, and accordingly we can be better prepared to attend those situations. So every elders can have different situation. Sometimes on medicine, sometimes they can require some mobility support. So we can be prepared according to their needs differently.
Thank you so much. It was really helpful. Thank you.
Rika?
Hi, so I have a question. When you spoke about lightning, you said to avoid metal things, and then when you say like if you're driving, then you should stay in the car. So I was confused, like, isn't the car also will attract or no?
Okay, so if the car is completely closed, so there is a scientific phenomena where the lightning impact will be spread out of the car, and it will not impact person sitting inside the car. So it is generally considered to remain inside the car, windows completely closed, and by that scientific phenomena where the entire lightning effect will get spread from the outer metallic body, it will disperse in the sides of the car. So that is how it is considered as safe even if we are inside the car. And if window is open, then it becomes dangerous. So that window must be completely closed.
Thank you. And I have one more question regarding this fire extinguisher, because you said like there are many types. And what happens, for example, I didn't know that there were many types. So if I use a wrong one, or it doesn't harm?
No, it can harm. That's why I also mentioned this aspect, that you should know and practice the extinguisher before you actually operate in real emergency situation. Okay. So usually nowadays in all the countries, there are multi-purpose extinguisher, irrespective of different types of fire. If I tell you briefly the classification of fire, it includes class A fire, which is normal solid. The fuel is normal solid like plastic, paper, etc. Okay, even clothes. So these are class A fire. Class B fire means the liquid fuel like diesel, petrol, kerosene. So all these are class B fire. Similarly, class C is from electrical as well as gaseous, but this classification may be different in your country. So to avoid such confusion, usually what system is followed, that nowadays multi-purpose extinguishers are available. Make sure the extinguisher which is available is related to all different types of fire, and it will be safe. So practice the extinguisher in mock drill situation, then only try to use extinguisher in real emergency.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mira
And
has a
somebody
question.
has answered this Faraday's cage. So this phenomena. You can go into details whenever you are inside the car. With this Faraday's cage impact, the lightning will not affect the person inside the car.
Mila has a question.
Yes.
What do you do in case of tsunamis?
Okay, so tsunami is also triggered from earthquake inside the oceans. Okay, and India has faced tsunami situations in past. So usually when tsunami like situation happens, the waves will start getting inside the ocean for a smaller amount of time, and we should be very cautious and alert if such situation, unusual situation happens on the ocean, and immediately come out of that area. There can be unusual silence, and the waves can behave, ocean waves can behave differently. And nowadays, different government authorities have made tsunami shelters at higher location. So move towards the higher location. And since India has faced similar situations, so based on the past experience, tsunami shelter is one such response which can be taken care. And usually countries who have experienced tsunami-like situation have built those tsunami shelters. So, and the common sense says that we should move towards a higher location so that we can save ourselves from the immediate impact of it. And
But
tsunami gets triggered from the ocean earthquake. So if it is earthquake inside the ocean, then it can trigger the high waves situation in that case.
yeah, but don't some tsunamis even like ruin buildings, and that it's not a good idea to stand on high grounds?
That can reduce the risk in such situation. Okay, but yes, if the intensity is very high, that depends on the situation, but we should try to move towards a higher location. That is the only action which is possible. See, I'll tell you, all natural disasters may not have 100% safe action possibility, but the common thing is that we should be cautious. We should not be in panic situation, and listen to all the alerts and such notifications, and then take actions accordingly. Even if you are not able to take some actions, not taking any action in such situation can be very life-saving situation. Okay, so that is the only option in such situation. Yeah.
Anyone else has any questions? So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Mr. Munish, for this really interactive session, which was really important for us and for this topic on natural and man-made disasters. We really hope that you all enjoyed. So, as we know, we are not able to predict nature or control its power, but what we can do is to be prepared. And through this awareness and actions, we can protect our lives and lives of others, and build resilience, and to learn how to respond, not to react. But we will talk more on our next sessions regarding these topics. So as we conclude, we encourage you to take this knowledge and apply it in your communities, organizations, and in daily lives. And we are very excited to invite you on our next session. So for those who are the first time here, every weekend we have sessions on a lot of topics. So the next session will be Sunday at 4 CT, and we will dive into interactive role-play scenarios and engaging games, which we designed to deepen your understandings and response strategies, and it will be definitely fun. So we hope that you will all stay with us and enjoy. And until then, stay safe, stay conscious, and thank you once again on behalf of the Mohanji Youth Club. We wish you all a wonderful day. And for any questions, just write in the group. So yeah, we will share all these topics and knowledge with you. Anyone else would like to say something or to share something? We were a little bit out of time, but you can express.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for-
much.
And thank you, Mr. Munish. This really means a lot to us. It was
Thank you
really.
very much. Thank you everyone for
Thank you,
patience.
and see you
Thank you.
next time.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.